Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our January 28th meeting of our Accessibility Advisory Committee. We are missing a couple of our committee members, Stuart and Sherman. I don't believe will be able to join us today, but we do have Heather and Mary and Wendy and myself, so we do have a quorum. And we have some special guests today. We have Allison. Who's going to help us through Derek. And Derek hasn't been with us before at the Accessibility Advisory Committee. He's certainly been with the municipality of Meaford for some time, so he's no stranger. Cassandra, one of our project managers with Rec and Culture, welcome. And I don't believe our CAO, Mr. Everett, has joined us previously. So welcome to Sean. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order, and we will start as always, taking a brief moment of reflection. If you'll join me. Thank you. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? If something should arise, feel free to mention later on in the meeting. I'll just go through this public participation announcement. Members of the public are encouraged to provide the committee with their comments and questions. Presentations must be prearranged with legislative services before the agenda is released. Members of the public who wish to make a deputation about a specific agenda item at the meeting must register in advance with the Legislative Services Coordinator by 4 p.m. The day before the meeting, which of course was January 27th, by contacting Bruce at meaford.ca or phone 519-538-1060 extension 1112. Presentations are limited to 10 minutes and deputations are limited to 5 minutes. Okay, having said that, we do have a presentation for today. And this will come from Grey County. Allison, can you tell us a little bit more about that? Get us started into this, please.
I think I'll let Kathy introduce herself, but she's the accessibility and contract specialist for the County of Grey, and she's here just to talk a little bit about the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee and what it would mean for a municipality to participate in that. This was an item that came from the staff resource that preceded this team, so we're just here to listen to what Kathy has to say today, and I'm sure she'll entertain any questions.
Okay, thanks, Allison. Kathy, are you there?
I am, Chair Greenfield. How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks, and welcome. Welcome to you. It's good to hear your voice, and you could have made it in person. All the roads over here in our municipality are summer-like, but anyway, we're glad to have you with us, Kathy, and have you go through this report from the Grey County Accessibility Committee. I think it would be best if we let you go through it and then save questions until the end of the presentation. Is that suitable?
Sure. At your discretion, Chair. I'm happy either way.
All right. Well, I think we're ready. If you're ready, you go ahead.
Okay, I am ready. The only odd thing I'm finding at my end is when I talk, all I can see is a black screen with my name, so I'm not seeing the slide.
Okay.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay. Oh, and I'm gone again. All right. All right, I can wing it. So the first slide is the color legend for the presentation. The butter yellow slide means that yes, legislation is fulfilled through membership with an accessibility advisory committee. So this could either be your local committee that you already have running very well, or through participation in the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee. The light gray slides you'll see is a gray area where consultation with an accessibility advisory committee isn't necessarily legislated, but it is best practice. And the white ones are legislation that isn't filled by participation in an accessibility advisory committee. And I'm ready for the next slide. And I can't tell if you're there or not because I still only see the black screen with my name.
We are having someone up to fix it now, but you are on the correct slide to get into the legislation.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much. Okay, so this slide talks about the requirement to establish and continue an accessibility advisory committee. The legislation is outlined there. And the answer to the question is yes. Municipalities with a population over 10,000 are required to have an accessibility advisory committee or participate in a joint accessibility advisory committee. Next slide, please.
Okay.
Okay. The Accessibility Advisory Committee shall advise the Council about the requirements and implementation of accessibility standards and the preparation of accessibility reports and such other matters for which the Council may seek its advice. So the answer to this one again is yes. The Accessibility Advisory Committee members provide advice about accessibility reports. So there isn't necessarily a requirement for these reports to come to the committee for advice and comment, but it is preferred. And next slide.
Okay.
A continuation of the last one. That does look a little bit gray as I saw the flash of it, but it's actually, well, it could be gray or white. So while it isn't legislated, the Ministry for Seniors and Accessibility, and this is on their website, encourages consultation with the AAC when preparing compliance reports for the municipalities. So the municipal staff will complete and submit the compliance report and then present it to the committee. And then following that, the approved or endorsed report will appear on the municipal website. And next.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. As soon as you say okay, I get to see the slide. So that's perfect. Thank you. Council shall seek advice from the committee when purchasing or significantly renovating a building, structure, or premise, or part of a building, structure, or premise. This is for municipally owned real estate. And yes, municipal staff are required to identify the need and prepare a report to the committee to see the committee's advice on accessibility of the building, structure, premises, with a lens of persons with disabilities, all kinds of disabilities, both visible and invisible. Next.
Okay.
This is one that I have to say, I only noticed this one about 2 years ago. And so Grey County had been non-compliant about this. But if the municipality is renting space from another party or renting space to another party, and it's a new lease, municipal staff are required to identify this need and prepare a report to the committee to seek the committee's advice on the accessibility of the leased building, structure, or premises for people with disabilities. Next.
Okay.
Okay. Develop and maintain policies governing provision of goods, services, or facilities as the case may be to persons with disabilities. So again, this is best practice. to involve AACs in reviewing policies. And it goes along with the culture of nothing about us without us. We need to make sure that we're involving people with disabilities when we're making decisions that are going to affect them. Next slide, please.
Okay.
Okay, so the legislation says when a committee selects site plans and drawings, as noted in Section 41 of the Planning Act, the council shall supply them to the committee in a timely manner for the purpose of the review. So as a participant and a member of the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee, back in 2019, the committee made a resolution that was endorsed by council that those projects that are noted in this slide are required to come to the Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee for review and comment. And those ones include newly developed or redeveloped public spaces, municipal offices, community centers, recreation centers, and other sports facilities. I just want to throw in here, the City of Owen Sound fairly recently disbanded their standalone accessibility advisory committee in favor of joining the county's accessibility advisory committee. And their process for reviewing site plan applications is a little bit different. It's been delegated to staff, and the city had previously provided all of their site plans to their accessibility advisory committee as keeping them in the loop. So since they've joined the Grey County Accessibility Advisory Committee, those projects that don't fit in this scope of required to be presented, we include those as correspondence or for information. Okay, next.
Okay.
Okay, create and keep a current multi-year accessibility plan. The plan has to be posted on the website. A review and an annual update for progress report needs to happen, and the plan in its entirety needs to be reviewed at least once every 5 years in consultation with an accessibility advisory committee. So yes, this would fall within the objective of fulfilling the legislation by means of participation in an accessibility advisory committee. And next slide.
Okay.
Okay. So for those of you who are a little bit legislation as a foreign language to you, we're on slide 11 of 17. You're over the halfway mark. We're getting through it. This little slide is, I think it's a one-off. We noticed that the Grey Roots Museum and Archives had a requirement from the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Sport in 2023 that they have an accessibility plan for their museum. So to meet that, we worked together and created an appendix to the multi-year accessibility plan for Grey County. And that was presented and then endorsed and then became part of the multi-year accessibility plan. So that was fulfilled through membership in an AAC. We haven't heard from them since. They didn't seem to want any follow-up, but we do include the progress on the plan in our annual report for progress. Next.
Okay.
Okay, there is a requirement to consult for self-serve kiosks and service counters. So this also is fulfilled by local municipalities preparing a report and then bringing it to the committee for review and comment. Staff need to make sure that they're asking the committee for the resolution that's going to fulfill the obligations of the legislation. And this is the case for all of them. I had that as a comment for the end, but I think this was a good time to throw that in there. Next up.
Okay.
Recreational trails, play spaces, and rest areas. Okay, so for these ones, for rest areas on sidewalks, so that's what a what do they call it? They call it a path, an exterior path of travel, but they mean sidewalk. So where the municipality is in charge of sidewalks, rest areas, outdoor play spaces, and recreational trails, if they're going to make any changes or build new, the committee, the AAC needs to provide input on how many, if any, rest areas are needed and where they would be best located. Next slide.
Okay.
Okay. When constructing new or redeveloping existing outdoor play spaces, to consult with the Accessibility Advisory Committee on the needs of children and caregivers with various disabilities. And this would be where the municipality would put that right in the resolution, requesting the committee members to comment on the needs of children and caregivers with various disabilities as they pertain to the proposed new or redeveloped outdoor play space. Next.
Okay.
Okay, conventional transit. Local municipalities can fulfill consultation requirements by bringing these matters to the Accessibility Advisory Committee for the committee's input. This involves planning for accessible bus stops and shelters, and where a municipality has entered into arrangements with a person respecting the construction of bus stops and shelters in its jurisdiction, the municipality is responsible to make sure that the people are participating in the consultation and planning. Next slide.
Okay.
Every municipality shall consult with its Municipal Accessibility Advisory Committee, the public and persons with disabilities, to determine the proportion of on-demand accessible taxi cabs required in the community. Every municipality shall identify progress made toward meeting the need for ongoing demand accessible taxi cabs, including any steps that would be needed in its accessibility plan. Okay, so Meaford, I believe, has accessible taxi cabs. Grey County itself is not responsible for licensing taxi cabs, but the fulfillment of this legislation can still be met through participation in the Accessibility Advisory Committee by presenting to the committee. Next slide.
Okay.
So I found this on the province's website. And so it's not legislated, but it says consult the committee. We encourage you to consult with your Accessibility Advisory Committee about how to implement the province's accessibility standards, the preparation of your municipality's accessibility compliance reports, and this is pretty loose, any other matters where the committee's advice would be helpful. And so in closing, I'd just like to say things to keep in mind are keep your resolutions clear in what input is requested of the AAC. And I mentioned that before with the playground example. It is possible for a joint accessibility advisory committee to submit combined reports to the province, but the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee does not have that as part of its mandate. So even if you were to choose to join as a municipal member, you would still be submitting your reports independently, but with the benefit of review by the committee members. And another benefit of participation is the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee allows for consistent information sharing and gives membership recruitment access to a larger geographic population. I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Thanks very much, Kathy. Thanks. A lot of information there, a lot of interesting information that the county has been involved with. Do we have any questions from committee members? So now's your chance to learn more about this Grey County Accessibility Advisory Committee. Yes, Mary, go ahead.
I don't know if this, through the chairman, I was just wondering how much comes to the county level on, sort of future planning and on, municipalities, let's say their ethos is to be accessible in everything they do, like putting out, travel guides and things like that, that they, it just becomes, who they are. Like I see where the legislation is, but I don't know, I've always felt, in the years before, this year, that we've done a good job of integrating accessibility in Meaford. And I just wonder how that is recognized at the county level when you're doing so many municipalities. Hopefully that makes sense.
Thank you. And if I may, through you, Chair Greenfield. So I approached this just from a lens of what the Accessibility Advisory Committee can do and provide and the benefit of that. But there will remain the whole other gamut of responsibilities that every municipality independently is required to do. And not even just municipalities, but businesses, individuals, services, all those will remain as requirements. It doesn't, participating in the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee doesn't mean that the county's looking after the local municipal accessibility requirements. That will carry on status quo. It's just an extra resource and I guess also my availability to help to support, but not to take away any local municipal role relating to accessibility.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I do have one for Kathy, and I'm trying to your committee deals with 8 different municipalities. I believe I'm right in that number. Whereas our committee deals with one municipality. I noticed in your presentation a number of times you've talked about staff involvement, and I'm just wondering, our committee quite often gets into reviewing plans, whether they be major products, major productions such as the renovation of our library building, to considerably smaller projects such as counter lowering and counter adjustments to help those with disabilities. I'm wondering, first of all, first question would be, do you have a committee member from each and every Grey County municipality? And second question is, in what depth do the committee members of the county committee get to examine plans and blueprints, that type of thing? Can you help me there?
Yes, thank you, Chair Greenfield. That's excellent points and an excellent question. I just want to start by saying Chatsworth is actually not participating. They are below 10,000 in population, and they don't have a requirement to be part of an accessibility advisory committee, but they're certainly welcome to join at any point in time. For the projects themselves, oh, sorry, I'll go back to the next piece of the question, which was representation. We don't restrict the representation. It's open county-wide. So we could have Meaford residents sitting on the Grey County Accessibility Advisory Committee, even now, Chatsworth. So they do have to be within Grey County, but that is the limitation of the scope. So I don't believe that all of the municipalities are directly represented. Going to the next question, which was about reviewing of the site plans. We do have a few members on the committee who have site plan review experience. It is not a requirement. We do really encourage the presenters to they provide the site plans and the documents and supporting documents and photographs. But we do also have 2 members on the committee who are blind. So we really encourage descriptive wording when talking about the project and what it entails and where things are located and lighting and bollards and stuff like that. And we find that even though not everybody has site plan review experience or knowledge, that the lived experience itself is the piece that brings really the most value to the contribution for the review. And we encourage the municipal member to come. We encourage the project coordinator to come, chief building official, because this input that comes from the members gives them an opportunity to look at the project with a different lens and come away and make changes that are going to be improvements to accessibility for everyone. And if it caught early enough in the project, it doesn't really even come with much of a financial obligation. I think did I answer them all?
Yes, that's fine, Kathy. Thanks for that. Any other questions arise? Okay, while we have you with us, Kathy, I just want to mention a project that some of our accessibility committee members took on a few months ago, and that was a walk around our downtown area, taking a look at entranceways to our downtown businesses, and considering whether they were indeed accessible, basically dealing with ramps and steps and so on. The findings were, I think, quite informative. I can't remember the exact numbers. I think there was something like at least a third of our downtown businesses that had at least questionable accessibility, if not being non-accessible. I took on a bit of a look myself, not with the downtown businesses, but our businesses in the outskirts of our urban area, west of the urban area and east of the urban area, and surprisingly, just about all of them are accessible, which is good news. I guess that's partially due to the fact that the buildings are somewhat more recent, but I just wanted to mention that that project that some of our members took on. It brought it back to us and brought it back to our council, and I think it was an eye opener for many. So I commend our committee for taking that kind of action. That's very proactive, and I think that's very special. Anything more? All right. Well, thanks again, Kathy. Keep up the good work and try to keep everything over at the Grey County building under control. I know you do a very good job, but it must be a challenge for you. But we'll let you go for today. Thanks again.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, committee.
Okay. Now, there are no deputations today, Allison, thanks. So that'll take us back to the number 5, the approval of the minutes from our last meeting. I know they've been distributed. Could I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Mary and seconded by Wendy. Thank you. Any discussion concerning the minutes? If not, I'll ask for your vote in favor of approval. All in favor? Thank you. That's passed unanimously. We'll go on to number 6, and this concerns a project that's been on the books now for a couple of years, and has taken a little a little bit of work, because it is going to have a big effect on our downtown, and draw a lot of visitors to McCarroll Park. Cassandra, you've been involved in this right from the beginning. Can you take us through your presentation then, please? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your time today. Last time I was here, we kind of talked about some of the next steps that were ongoing with the splash pad. And we've got some great, exciting news and more of an update from that last meeting. So our current splash pad has reached its end of life. It was in the past the old wading pool that was filled. It served our community very well and has been a very popular amenity, but has now reached its end of life. There are concerns with it being a tripping hazard, given the half-a-foot lip and some drainage issues that we have down there. The current features also have some, they're not AODA compliant and use some high water consumption. So some of the benefits for children as it relates to learning for splash pads consist of some physical development, encouraging active play, building motor skills, low impact exercise, cognitive and sensory development. So sensory stimulation, cause and effect learning, problem solving, and curiosity. All of these are important for the early stages of childhood development. Social and emotional benefits. So promoting social interaction, building their confidence, inclusive play group, safety advantages, no standing water, improved visibility, so caregivers can watch the children a little bit closer than with deeper water, and slip resistant services that you wouldn't necessarily get from slip and slides or some other water features. And then encouraging outdoor play. We've seen a large increase of screen time being used with children throughout the past number of years. So this encourages children to get outside and connecting with nature and community spaces. Some benefits relating specifically to accessibility and inclusive design. Mobility accessibility, so wheelchair accessible surfaces, something flat, smooth, and non-slip, allowing for easy navigation. Zero entry design, so no stairs, no steps, ground level with the surrounding geography. Wheelchair friendly water features, so ground sprays, vertical mistings, and suitable height elements for all individuals. Inclusive for children with disabilities, physical disabilities, so children who cannot swim or climb can safely enjoy water play. Sensory sensitivities, so layouts that will allow like lower pressure to higher pressure. And cognitive or development disability, so simple, intuitive features that can reduce complexity and frustration. Splash pads by nature are accessible by having a flat, smooth surface. And to comply with AODA, they need to have 5-foot accessible pathways to get to the splash pad. This is out of the scope for this year and will be coming in the future with new development on Collingwood Street. To meet AODA compliance as well, the slope of the splash pad from the perimeter to the drain cannot exceed a 2% slope. Our splash pad will comply with that. The activator bollard, so where where children get to press the button that will allow all the water features to start, will be fully AOD compliant, much like the crosswalks with a beep and light. Color contrast being used for low vision. And many of the interactive features are wheelchair user height for easy access. So the little splash blasters, mini spinning fish, and the water O hoop, which we'll show you in a few slides, on each of the designs that we currently have underway. From this specific contractor that we have selected is the largest in the industry, which will allow for adults to run through as well as accommodating any wheelchair or mobility devices. Support for caregivers. Accessible seating and shade to allow them to stay close and comfortable nearby their children. Clear sight lines, making supervision easier for parents, aides, and therapists. AOD compliant amenities, so nearby accessible washroom, which McCarroll Park has, and accessible parking nearby. Age and ability inclusivity, so multi-level play options, gentle sprays for younger children, and then including more dynamic features such as the big bucket splash that they all seem to like as they get older. And also a shared play environment. So somewhere that everybody can be included of all abilities. So we currently have 2 different themes that our communications team has developed in posting online for the public to vote. Our voting ends, the campaign runs from January 19th until February 2nd. The 2 designs to choose from one has the beach theme, the other one has the nature theme. Both designs have cause and effect products and sensory features that are designed in a way that change in level. So again, that lower sensory to the increased sensory level. They have many of the same features in the same locations, just the different appeal. The beach has 2 of the same features. Nature has 1 extra different feature. Both have the same number of features and are most in the same location, but slight offset for drainage purposes. And yeah, you can find some more information on our website. Any questions?
Thanks, Cassandra. Thanks very much. A lot of information. Yeah, go ahead, Heather.
I had one. Is this project big enough that you'll need a staff member each day?
Through the chair. No, it will not. So when you see some of the splash pads that require a full-time attendant, they have a different, like it's more for like the recirculation, which reuses the same water over and over. Ours will not have that feature to it.
Yes, Mary?
Through the chair, just wondered if it's not really part of this plan, so it may not be a right question, but is there somewhere in that area where there could be kind of a comm space? I don't mean actually in the pad, but some kids get pretty excited and they need to go to that comm space. And so I just wondered if there was any thought of kind of designating a little spot in the park to kind of be that comm space. Or maybe something to think about it. I was just thinking about Canada Day. I didn't know whether they would use that when NISA put up the comm space, and it got used all the time, and we do it Christmas on the Bay. So I just thought it might be nice that, you know, you've thought of the seating for parents and caregivers, but I just wondered if that might be one thing. And yeah, my other one got answered. So thanks.
Thanks for your comment. So in our master plan, we have the park that's kind of laid out a little bit more spread out than what existed before. I think there's great opportunity to having a calming space, given that the playground relocation has been moved to the west end of the park. And that's something that we can definitely look into more.
Okay, yes, go ahead. Now's the time.
Through the chair, I just wanted to say, I also appreciate that really the way the layout in that, it's good if it's the parent that's disabled. They'll be able to get around with the kids in this layout. And I think sometimes we forget about that. And so I really appreciate that was part of this.
It's great to have these accessibility benefits, Cassandra, built in, and I think it will make it a much more all-inclusive area for everyone. Heather. Yes.
I guess the signage, which will come later, would be the same as, is there a sign now at the main intersection directing people to the splash pad? I'm
Would
not
there-
sure.
I'm not entirely sure. We do have signage at the front of the park. There is going to be a sign coming that will kind of indicate like some health and safety requirements for children using the splash pad.
People driving through the main street. There would be a sign to direct them if they wanted to stop for an hour and let kids play.
Yeah, we'll look into that more. I do believe there is a sign indicating McCarroll Park splash pad, but I'm not entirely.
Yeah, I'd
Sure.
have to look at that myself. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. But sometimes, you know, if people are just driving through from point A to point B, they wouldn't know that on the back side of the street or wherever, they could take a little break and let the kids run around and blow off some steam.
Yeah, Mary.
Sorry, that just brought up another question. Is the park going to have the pictograms in it that some of our parks have to help with kids with communication?
Yes, that's one of the options that we're looking into as well, that will have like, yeah, the braille option for also reading and navigating. Super, thanks.
I have a couple of questions, Cassandra. The water temperature, can we control that? Or is it just whatever comes from the tap?
Unfortunately, that one is one that is currently just coming out of the tap.
Okay, all right. Now the other question is one that I shouldn't ask, but will anyway. Can the splash pad be easily converted into a skating rink in the winter? I knew I shouldn't ask that one. I take it the answer is no on that one.
Yes, you're correct on that.
Yeah.
Just because sometimes having like that excess water can cause damage to the features that are around.
Okay, it's just a thought. But,
Is
all right, yes, Wendy, go ahead.
And I think, Harley, we had one in Waterloo and they had to run all sorts of cooling pipes under the concrete to create a ice rink, because you know how much thaw we have. And like in Waterloo, they have an outdoor skating rink under the town square, which is concrete. But they've run all sorts of cooling pipes and they have a big compressor under there. So I don't think it's really all that feasible, unfortunately.
if it was ever considered for the future, is there enough green space that an area could be cordoned off and a rink made? With maybe volunteers, probably.
As long as it's completely accessible. Yeah, keep that in mind. Okay, is there anything else for Cassandra? Because I know she's a busy young lady. She's more than welcome to stay for the next few minutes, but I know she might be working out some ways of bringing down her budget for next week. Anyway, at that point, we'll move on. No, I'm sorry, Allison.
I
Yeah,
apologize through you.
we
we just-
need to accept this.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
okay, thank you. We have a recommendation that the Accessibility Advisory Committee receive the presentation for information purposes. The Carroll Park Splash Pad. Do I have a mover? Harry, and a seconder, Wendy. All in favor for accepting? Thank you. No items for consideration, and any committee inquiries, that's number 8. Yeah. Mary, do you have a half an inquiry?
I know it's probably my fault, but I wondered if there maybe at the next meeting be time to look at what we did present at council and especially the things we're already doing that seem to have quieted down, like the Accessibility Recognition Award, and maybe come up with some strategies. Because I know looking at the front doors was really good, but it's not totally what we're supposed to do. But I think to get that information out and I just want to know, is it okay if I share that with the Chamber of Commerce and start to push that? And one other thing
Yes,
that I
go
want to
ahead.
be able to tell you from that little audit that we did is I think I have found something to help on those tripping. At council, there was a lot of discussion about the little entrances that have the little trip. And I noticed when I went into Goldsmiths, they have these little rounded steel things that I had never seen. I just haven't been over to get a picture of it, but I'll do that. And but anyway, I just think, it'd be nice to have a bit of discussion about that, what we presented and what, is really a municipal thing and how we can do, look at what we could be doing. Because we kind of just were quiet there for a while, and I think it'd be nice to not be so quiet. Thank you.
Thanks for that, and I think Allison and Derek have made note of that request. Okay, we'll move on to communications. We have another preamble here. The committee will consider correspondence received by members of the public during each meeting. To share your comments, thoughts, or concerns with members of the committee, the public can send an email to the Legislative Services Coordinators at dbruce@meaford.ca. When emails are received to this email address, they will be compiled into a correspondence list, which is then distributed to committee members prior to the meeting. The cover sheet of this list will be included on each meeting agenda. The contents of the correspondence list are not included on the public agenda to protect the privacy and personal information of those residents who choose to send in their thoughts and their comments. And there have been none recently. Right. I do want to ask our CAO, Mr. Everett, if you have any comments or anything you'd like to add to the meeting?
Thank you, Chair. I guess one of the things that just to support the work that the committee's doing, we have a number of projects that are being proposed that I believe need to be coming to this committee. Everything from really looking forward to the harbor master plan, making sure that when we look at that, accessibility in all aspects is considered. We just brought a report recently, it was on Monday, in regards to the patio program on Main Street. That's something that this committee should be weighing in on, because quite frankly, from an accessibility perspective, any encroachment onto a sidewalk needs to be considered from an accessibility perspective. So you have my full support. Right now, we are just going through a reorg with our staff. That's why I'm here today. I want to get a better understanding of the accessibility portfolio in all aspects. But this committee has my full support. When we start looking at budgets, we're just doing the 2026 budget, but I can tell this committee, and it won't be new to staff, that we're already starting on 2027 budget. We need to be getting projects in front of this committee more often. And quite frankly, having the committee, if they want, to go on site of any renovations that we're doing, So we go on site to see what's existing and then hearing from this group before we proceed of any ideas. So just really want to engage this committee as best as we can. So that way, when we do these projects, these aren't afterthoughts. These are well planned, and when we have staff like Cassandra, who is fantastic at what she does, rather than her having to go back because, you know, other staff haven't maybe necessarily reached out. We want to get that reach out early and quite frankly, before projects are being brought forward to council, we can say we've already consulted. And this is what we're hearing and this is what we've incorporated. So with that, thank you, Mr. Councilor Greenfield.
Thank you for that. And I think I can speak for the committee members that they enjoy engagement and involvement. And yeah, Mary, you go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know how many years, but we've always had two committee members that were on this sort of site review. And I know for us, it was, for this round, it was Stu and Sherman, but Cassandra, I've been on a few site visits with Cassandra. It saves you a lot of time and a lot of money. And I remember the last one we were on was just that ramp going down into the Market Square. And when we were out there looking at the parking lot, wow, the questions that came up, you know, should there be a walkway? Should there be parking? Should there be this? You know, so I think that's a really important part of what this committee can do. I mean, we all have different strengths and knowledge and everything, but I think that's a really important part, and it keeps us engaged too. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, Heather.
I was just wondering, is there any advantage to you or would there be to us to have a member sit on any of your committee meetings, or would we be best to wait and let you do your thing and then bring it forward and maybe, as you say, visit the sites?
So one thing that we're making sure is any project that we're bringing forward, even in an operational enhancement, we need to have on a checklist of accessibility. We should be considering accessibility in everything that we do. No different, you know, I'm really old school, but I finally got it. Every project that we do has to have a communication piece, and it has to be, is it internet connected? So, you know, everything that we do needs to make sure that our IT group is involved because could be opportunities. So I believe that the best opportunity for this group is knowing that if we're checking off and it has accessibility, that we are engaging this group. And quite frankly, not maybe necessarily an accessibility committee meeting, but do one-offs that say, okay, this, and this, we're going to concentrate on and be able to put a nail in it and then move on, but we've consulted. And I think equally, when the project's done, there's the follow-up to say, did it get done and did it work? And if it didn't work, not just say, oh, it didn't work, how do we remedy it? So, yeah.
So regular presentations by your group to this group would be good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. That's all good news. Anything further from anyone? We have a date of the next meeting. Oh, yes, Mary?
I've been pretty good today. I haven't talked too much. I just wanted to say, because I know there's people in this room, we have been able, thanks to Meaford Hall, reschedule the diversity concert. We will never do it in the winter again. I promise, I promise. I'm retiring, so it won't be up to me, but it's going to be June 24th. So it does make one of our groups, unfortunately, are on holidays that week, but it was the only one that worked, but we've got them engaged. They're going to be engaged doing a few other things. So they'll all be a part of it. So I just wanted to mention it. So yeah, so it was a big disappointment, but we rise again. So
Good. Good. Thank you again. March 25th, 2026, 1 p.m., right here. And I was remiss at the beginning of our meeting when I didn't mention this gentleman in the back corner here, Mr. Bill, who's helping us get through all this. And if there's nothing else, I know Bill's got another meeting, I think a little later this afternoon that he needs to get us cleared out for. So I will adjourn this meeting of the Accessibility Committee at 1:55. Thanks very much for your cooperation.